So we are discussing about motion of a rigid body, and in the motion of rigid body we have that rigid body and which is moving with constant velocity, and that is actually the motion of center of mass, and this is a pure translation motion, in which we can use that three equations of motion, and the second one is when we define one axis by choosing two fixed point A and B here, and this body is moving along that axis, then this is the rotation motion, and here this is moving with a constant angular velocity. So this is pure rotational motion, and we may have the third body also, where this is the body and axis is also there, and this body is moving with a constant angular velocity, but this body is also moving with a velocity phi. This is the linear velocity, this is angular velocity, rotational velocity. So again, this is along fixed body, and this is the summation of rotational with translation velocity. Translational velocity, motion. So we have several examples of this pure translational velocity also. One bulk body is moving, and second, this is one axis, and we have taken that example of that fan and the door moving around that hinge, and this is just the wheel of any vehicle. So if that vehicle is moving on a road, then the rotation of that wheel, this is that rotational motion, and the axis, this is moving along on the road. So that is that rotational with translation motion. And we have defined this omega as this is equivalent to 2 pi nu. Nu is the frequency of that rotation, where this can be also written as 2 pi by t, where t is the time period. So for a complete rotation, the total time taken is time period, and in a particular time and number of rotations, that is the frequency. And also this phi and this omega, and this can be correlated with that omega, it is equivalent to phi multiplied by r. We have used this relation in circular motion also. So this is actually that scalar form. Actually this omega, this is also the vector parameter, this is also that vector term, this r, that displacement, this is also the vector. So don't think this is just the dot product of two vectors. Actually in form of vector, this is the cross product, and in terms of that cross product, this is written as, so generally in magnitude form we can write this omega is equivalent to VR, but this is not the dot product, this is just the multiplication, scalar multiplication. So in form of vector, this is taken in form of cross product. So we have the vector product as a cross product, and as a cross product we write this. So the relation between linear velocity phi and omega is that phi is equivalent to omega r. This is the term, phi is equivalent to omega r, and here this phi is a vector quantity, r is also a vector quantity, and omega is also a vector quantity, but this is not the dot product. If this is the dot product, then this must be a scalar quantity, but this is not true. This is a scalar quantity, so we cannot use this as a dot product. So in form of for a simple calculation, we take this relation for different derivation, but this is actually the vector product. This is written as vector product, and that vector product, that phi, it is actually equal to r cross omega. So this can be written as equivalent to r omega sin theta, or if we take if this r is taken as equivalent to xi plus yz plus zk, and omega that can be written as equivalent to omega xi plus omega yz plus omega zk, the three components along three direction, then this v can be written as equal to I, z and k with this x, y, z, and this is omega x, omega y and omega z, and this can be written as equal to, this is I cap, and just let this row in column, and this is y multiplied by omega z, we are starting from left, minus z omega y plus z cap, and just like this, and now we are starting from right, and this is z multiplied by omega x minus x omega z and plus k, and this is now again starting from left, so x omega y minus y omega z. So multiplication of the cross product of two vectors is performed like this if that is given in terms of its components along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. And if just if its magnitude is given, then this is written as that mod omega, mod r mod omega and sine theta. And again, this v is actually the vector quantity, then we need this unit vector to show the direction. Okay, so these are three vectors and fixed with that cross product. So these three vectors are actually mutually perpendicular vectors. If we want to show this direction of omega, then if this is moving with along this with that in this direction, then the direction of omega, this is actually along the direction of axis in the upward direction. We will use that right hand thumb rule, or that is screw rule. So if this is that rotation of this, so body is rotating like this. If the body is rotating like this, then this thumb, the direction of thumb, this will show the direction of omega. And if this is r, if a particular point is here and this is the direction of r, then the direction of velocity, that will be tangential in that rotational velocity. So in circular motion we have also used the same, and if this is this body is rotating along this in the anti-clockwise direction with angular velocity omega, then the direction of omega, that will be like this, because it is rotating in this direction. Okay, so remember this. First we fix that direction of omega in rotational motion. If it is in this direction, it is rotating like this, then the direction will be an upward direction. If it is rotating like this, then the direction of omega will be toward the downward direction. And also in a rotational motion, this omega is fixed, but this v varies from distance. If this is that body and we have numbers of different particles at a different distance, then if this is r1, this is r2, this is r2, this is r3, different particles at different direction, and let's say this is r4, and this r1 is less than r2, it is less than r3, it is less than r4, and so on, and the distance is increasing. If this body is moving with a constant angular velocity omega, then this linear velocity v1, that linear velocity v, it is actually equal to omega r in magnitude point of view. R is increasing, omega is fixed, omega is constant. Omega is constant. Why? Because frequency is constant or time period is constant. So this v, it is proportional to r. As the distance increases from the axis, this axis, distance increases from the axis for a particular particle, its linear velocity will increase. So as far as that linear velocity is concerned, its velocity, this v1 is less than v2, it is less than v3, it is less than v4, and up to this, let's say somewhere here. So at the boundary, if there is some particle, some body, then its linear velocity will be maximum, but the angular velocity is same. So let's just say, let us take the example of our Earth. So if this is our Earth, and its a time period, rotational time period is fixed, and this is the axis, and its a angular velocity omega. This is equivalent to 2 pi by t, and t is actually equal to 24 hours. Earth rotates along its axis in 24 hours. Is the rotational time. So t is fixed. So some people near about this axis of Earth, it is moving with Earth with lower linear velocity compared to one person which is somewhere here. So we are not static form, we are in the moving form, and the person near about this axis, its linear velocity is much less than compared to the person at the boundary somewhere here. Why? Because it's a R1, it is, and this is just R2, so R1 is much less. So similar case. So we can use this for calculation of that linear velocity. Now let us introduce one more physical parameter, new parameter in rotational velocity, and before that we just think about the motion of one door, that rotational motion. So let us have, this is that hinge axis, and this is the door. Okay, so let us take the example of the door, motion of that door, rotational motion of this door, and think about this. If you want to rotate this door, and by using a constant force with a different position, if you want to open this door by using that force somewhere here, just applying one force at the hinge, at that axis, there will be no rotation. If we use that force somewhere here, that will rotate, but we have to do much more effort to open that door. Somewhere here, the effort is little bit less with compared to this first one. As the distance increases from this hinge, let's say, just apply that force somewhere here, that door will be easily opened. Effort is much less. So as the distance increases from this hinge, force is constant but effort is less. We can easily open that door by using force somewhere here. You can think about this. Just by using force, generally we open this door like this. It is easy. But when we apply force somewhere near to that hinge, that door can not be easily opened. So that physical parameter, which actually depends on force as well as the distance from this axis, this is known as moment of force or torque. So this is the effort to move. This is effort to rotate a body with force. This is the turning effect of force. So this torque is actually the turning effect of force. So when we apply to rotate any body, and that start rotating, turning a particular along a particular axis, then that turning effect, this is known as torque. So this mathematically, this tau, it is written as equivalent to R multiplied by F. This is tau. It is written. It is tau. TAU. Again, here I am taking this as a magnitude only. Actually, this tau is torque is also a vector quantity, and this it is written as torque. It is equivalent to R cross F. This is cross product of this distance R and F. Now we can write its unit and dimension also. So the unit will be unit of tau. It is the force, and this is distance. So this is Newton meter, and the dimension of tau. This is Newton. That force is mLT minus 2 multiplied by the distance L. This is, so the dimension is just the dimension equal to work or inertia, mL/T minus 2, and one can calculate like that. And this tau, this actually depends on this RF, and one can write this is RF sine theta with that n cap. This n cap is the direction of this tau, which will be perpendicular to this R and F. Again, we will use the same rule. So if this is that object, linear object, and we are using this is that axis, and we want to use the force like this. This is the force applied, and that axis is, this is the direction of R, and this angle is theta. This is that body, axis is here, and we want to rotate this, applying this force is along this direction. So this is direction of force, this is R. Then this tau, it is actually equal to R cross F, and this is RF sine theta. And one can write this is R sine theta multiplied by F, where this R sine theta is, let us have this just draw a normal somewhere here. This is 0, this is, let's say, M. And if this angle is theta, this angle will be also theta, and this is taken as R, so this will be R sine theta. Okay, so this R sine theta multiplied by F, one can write this is R perpendicular also, perpendicular or normal, perpendicular multiplied by F. So this tau is taken as equivalent to the shortest distance with force. Means we just take that force and taken that shortest distance of that force as a normal, and when we multiply this, then this is known as torque. So R perpendicular multiplied by F. R perpendicular means that shortest distance. We may have different type of forces. We just have to decide which one is the shortest distance. And if angle is given, there is no problem. If it is not given, just we have to measure the shortest distance. So this is, we can have different examples, and you can take from any book. So just take the direction of force and the shortest distance from that axis, then this is the multiplication is known as that. Another physical parameter we use is R sine theta, that is R perpendicular, R perpendicular. This is the shortest distance from hinge to direction of force or force. So as far as numerical problem is concerned, you should have the value of r, f and theta. You can calculate tau, r and f in terms of that vector components x, y, z, and you can calculate by using that determinant process. But one thing is important here. This tau, this mainly depends on this three parameters: tau, r, f and theta also. This r, tau will be maximum. The tau will be maximum at greater value if this either r is maximum, means the distance maximum. Just मैं door का example दिया. If you are increasing the distance from the hinge, the effect will be maximum. That tau is actually the effect. Effect will be maximum. Or you have to apply one strong force. So if r is maximum, or f is maximum, or theta is 90 degree. Force and hinge, the direction. So generally, when we open this door, what we do? We just apply the force normal to that R. The R is from the hinge along this. This is R. I am applying this force along this. This is normal to that. So effect is maximum. Okay, effect will be minimum if we apply that direction, that force in any direction other than that normal one. I am trying to apply the force like this. The effect will be less than the first one. So effect is minimum. Tau will be minimum, or 0 will be 0 if r is 0. R is 0 means force is on the axis. We are applying the force at the axis here. R is minimum. Here we are applying force here. Then there will be no effect, no rotation. And this R force F is equal to 0. We are not applying force. Force is 0. Then there will be no rotation, there will be no effect. So either we are applying the force at the axis, there will be no rotational effect. Or that the force is 0, we are not applying the force. Or theta it is equal to either 0 or pi. We are just applying the force like this. In this direction, we are applying the force. There will be no effect. No rotational effect. No torque. Because that angle between R and force, it's either 0 or 180. So since theta is 0, then that sin theta, that will be 0. Then there will be no effect. So angle must be in between, near about that 90 degree and 90. And either R and F, this is with the reliable value, then that rotational effect will be there, torque will be there. So one more physical parameter introducing in this chapter, that is the angular momentum. We have linear momentum. So that linear momentum is, if that body, this is moving with constant velocity and the body mass is m, then the linear momentum at p, it is equal to mass multiplied by v. And this is a vector quantity, depends on the direction of velocity, mass is constant. And here we are introducing that angular momentum, and if this body is moving, this is v mass m, and this is that body moving with a constant angular velocity omega along this axis. Then this angular momentum, it is represented by L. It is actually given as cross product of R multiplied by P. Here again, R cross P, there R cross F. So again, the third physical parameter in which we are using cross product of two vectors. So the direction of L will be perpendicular to the direction of R and P, and again we will use that right hand thumb rule. So that rotation of that body, that rotation of this body is along this. Then we have this L, this is perpendicular to R and P. Okay, so this R can be written as equivalent to in terms of x, y, z, and one will have this R is equivalent to that xi plus yz, and I should not repeat this the same one, and this p, it is equivalent to pxi plus pyz plus pzk, and we can have this L, it is equivalent to izk and xy z px py pz, and similarly we can calculate this. And also this let us have the derivative of this L and get the relation between this L and that tau. So let us take, so if we have this angular momentum L, it is equivalent to R cross P. You can calculate its units and dimension. And this, let us have the derivative of this dl by dt, it is equivalent to d by dt R cross P. So this is equal to d, just take cross dp by dt plus this dr by dt cross P. We are using that for multiplication formula of d by dt d a dot b, it is equivalent to a dv by dt plus b d dA by dt. Just taking one as a constant and the derivative of second. So here R is taken the constant and the derivative of this, plus this is taken as constant and the derivative of this. And this is equivalent to R cross dp by dt plus this is V multiplied by M multiplied by V. Okay, I can also write that is mv. So this is mass can be taken as constant, or dv by dt plus v cross v, and v cross v, this is 0. Okay, so this, you know, that when the property of that cross product, we're taking that I cross I, j cross j, and that result 0. So this v cross v is equal to 0. So this is again R dp by dt. And what is this? dp by dt, rate of change of momentum.
Force.
Yes. So this is force. So this L. So L is equivalent to R cross dp by dt. And this is R cross F. So dl by dt is equivalent to R cross F, and R cross F is nothing but the torque tau. Let's try to find 2 seconds before. So this tau, this can be written as equivalent to dl by dt. This is the relation between, this is the relation between angular momentum. And torque. And this is analogous to relation between force and linear momentum. This is analogous to the relation between force and linear momentum. What we have, this force, that force, it is equal to dp by dt. From the Newton's second law of motion, this force is defined as rate of change of momentum. So force is equal to dp by dt. Here this tau torque, it is dl by dt. So further we will compare this torque with force. In the linear velocity, force is taken, and in the angular velocity, rotational velocity, this it is replaced by torque tau. Okay, so in this class we have introduced two new physical parameters. One is that torque, and second one is this angular momentum. The relation between this torque and angular momentum is derived here by using a simple method. So the cross product of two vectors is very important as far as this chapter is concerned, and you should have some more practice on the numericals of this. Okay, so more than sufficient. Thank you.